Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively on Sunday the 22nd of September 2024 with FLOSSTUBE number 238. Welcome back to my weekly YouTube channel about counted cross stitch on this very wet, grey, dreary day. I've got to start with the weather report. It's persisting down, as I like to say. Yeah, it's quite solid rain, yay. Yesterday, Saturday, was a beautiful day, but I was not home, so most of the day I was out and about, meeting a friend for lunch in Johnsonville at the, what's it called? There's a cafe at the Johnsonville Library called Ground Level, maybe? I don't know, it doesn't really matter. And then there was a little free, they call it out in the shelves, performance, little taster performance from the Glamophones. That's the Wellington's LGBTQ plus, I don't know if I've got enough letters there, Rainbow Choir. And they were just at a little it was a freebie in the library, a six song little performance, and to kind of recognise, apparently it's bi-week, and then also a bit of a taster. They've got a paid performance coming up, a little show in November. Well, anyway, that was kind of fun. I've got a friend, someone I used to work with, crikey, it must be like 2018 maybe, no, even older than that. It might have been like 9 or 10 years ago I worked with her. She's in the choir, and then my friend Sarah, she knows a couple of people in the choir as well, so it's always nice to go and support local arts. And then on Thursday I went to the Symphony Orchestra, the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra, my friend from work, and that was fun. It was a triple, I'm struggling with my words, a 3-piece program, a triple bill, I don't know what they call them, 3 different pieces of music. It was great, I enjoyed it, but late night home. At the moment we've got industrial action with it's impacting the trains, timetables and stuff and what have you. So it was very late getting home. The train I eventually got on stopped sort of 3/4 of the way there, and then said, oh, we're going back to Wellington, you have to get off here, then you have to catch the next one coming through, so we had to wait for that, and it was just a really long night to get home. The joys of living not in the city where all the fun things are. Otherwise works a lot. My project has a phased sort of release. We've got 5 different go lives over a 7 or 8 week period. So we're kind of ramping up with a Canary group, then a couple of early adopter groups, then an all of staff group, then some stuff that happens after. So I'm probably going to be working a little bit, some hours, most weekends through to the 18th of November. So the next couple of weekends are going to be my only weekends that I'm not working. So we'll see what happens. It just could impact everything over the next little while. And I'm still trying to get all myself ready to start job hunting, and I just got too much going on. Like, my project's like seriously ramping up and I just do not have time, but that's okay. But yeah, it's been a nice week catching up with people and doing things. And then next Sunday, I've got a friend who's reached out. She's here in town to go to WOW, the World of Wearable Arts, and she's staying with another friend of hers in Lower Hutt, but she's asked if we want to catch up, and I've said sure. So Sunday probably going to do brunch, and then I'll hopefully catch up with my friend Anne after, since I'm already driving into town. Apologies for the dishwasher. I'm pretty sure you can hear it, but I have a small house and everything's in the same space. I'm making bread, trying to get back into making bread and stuff. I've got out of the habit for a little while. I guess you can only do so many things. So I've got 2 loaves of no knead artisan bread proving. I've made a couple of loaves of feijoa loaf that I can freeze for a little semi-sweet treat. It's only half a cup of sugar in each recipe, so that's good. It's not too sweet, and I've got so much stuff in my freeze that I just need to use up because it's been there a little bit too long. Those feijoas are not from last year, they're from 2023. That is last year. They're not from this feijoa season, which is like March, April. They're from 2023. So we're coming up to that time of year again when I'll get more feijoas. So I made that. It's just nice to have a little sweet treat, but yeah, again, something that's not too sweet because I don't actually really love super sweet things. That's what I've been doing, pottering around and a little bit of stitching. So perhaps we should get on to the main reason that I'm here. I haven't got anything new to show you. I have had a couple of charts that I kind of ordered through Art and Frame back in during the retreat in Christchurch in March. Just a couple of scarlet letter charts that anyway, I just followed that up a few weeks ago, and Karen hadn't put the order through, but she said I'll put the order through, so she put the order through, so they're now here, so I'm going to pay for them next week. But anyway, I should expect to have them next week to show you. But other than that, no, I've been really good, goodish, I guess. But I did have a new start. You may recall I talked about wanting to get Floral Dreams started. So this is Nora Corbett, kind of the companion to Moon Glow, which I finished a few weeks ago. And I have decided I plan to get her finished by the 12th or 18th of November, whichever day is my YouTube anniversary. So I can then give this chart away as part of my 5-year anniversary giveaway that I'm saving things to give away on. Okay, so Forest Dream, she was started on the 15th of September 2024. I'm using 32 count amber linen from Wichelt. I'm trying to read backwards in my terrible writing with my progressive glasses. And I'm using Call for DMC and Mill Hill and 2 of the Waterlillies, and I've substituted 2 of my own Waterlillies. I did show you last week a random colour, very orangey. I don't know why that was there. So it doesn't fit with any of the, I don't know why it was in there. I'm not using that. The 2 colours that I've substituted will be essentially for the 2 different branch colours. Everything else in here is called for. So, I don't know what I was thinking. I just had packed it. I had pulled floss for it like, 6 months ago or longer, and didn't remember why it was there. So this is not the called for linen. It's a little bit more. The call for is like natural, but I want a little bit more colour. So that's where I got to. That's probably Sunday, Monday, a little bit on Tuesday. It's a bit messy, gaps for beads, but I'm just sort of trying to, not colour complete, but if I put a colour on my needle, I try and use up that whole colour, then pick up another one. So there's a whole lot of pink and stuff that'll come into here, but I kind of want enough pink places that I've got a good chance of using close to a full length of floss so that I don't have to keep rethreading. For example, this is the lavender silk, so you can see I had enough to get that far. So yeah, it's coming along. I think her little, one of her feet starts in here. I don't really know. Anyway, nice little start. I'll chip away at that. And then I remembered that I want to finish this Halloween cross-stitch ball. I don't have the part I worked on. So I had started part 4 at the all staff, I'll work on the brain. The Wellington region stitchy catch up back in the end of August, and I had started the one that had a spooky tree, one of the octagons. That was part 4, and I did manage to finish that the next week, which I showed you a couple of weeks ago, but I still hadn't finished the rest of part 4. So I finished the rest of part 4. So that included the scaredy cat row. I think it's called Cat on a Fence. Very fun with all the bushy hair. So there's the first 4. Obviously there's a spider still to go in there, but I'm not going to add the embellishments, so I'm ready to put it together because I need to iron it on occasion. So I think there are 4 more hexagons to go. So I got that one done yesterday, and then I also got the 2 little squares. I think there are only 10 or 12 squares, I can't remember. And I've got mess on here. So it was just these 2 here, the bat and the little skulls. So that's the first 8. And then I was going to carry on with part 5, and I could not find it, the printouts. And I was like, I'm sure, I know they're here somewhere, and I found part 6, and I've just dropped my last thing to show you on the floor. I knew I'd printed off part 6, and I could not find part 5. And I would have sworn on a box of bloody phone books that had part 6 already, that I had purchased part 5. Couldn't find it. Did I say tear my room? I didn't really tear my room apart. There's only a couple of places it would be. I'm like, I would have sworn I had this. But anyway, so I logged into my Etsy on the website, not the app, so I could go into my purchases to re-download. Oh, because I went to my OneDrive where I keep all my PDFs, and in my Cherry Parker folder, it was part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 6. I'm like, oh. Looked at my email, wasn't in my email, because again, I file them, I have a system, right? Purchase a thing, I immediately download it, send it to OneDrive, so I've got it backed up. I then save that email, or then I print it, if I'm working on it, I print it, and then I save that email into a folder called Cross Stitch. So I've got and also it's an Etsy, right? Although some things are limited with downloads. So it wasn't in my OneDrive. It wasn't in my email. I'm like, oh. Now I know it was around the time that I was dealing with Dad. I still would have sworn it. So I logged into my Etsy account, looked through my purchases, part 3, part 5, no, part 3, part 4, part 6. I'd never purchased it. What a munter. Anyway, I purchased it. If I did purchase it, there's no record of it on the internet. So I purchased it and got it printed. And that was, by this time I got that, I didn't feel like stitching it anymore. I really, really want to get it stitched so I can get it put together. So yeah, I've got part 5 and part 6 to do. I'll chip away at that. That's pretty exciting. And that is all just on, so yeah, Halloween cross stitch ball from Cherry Parker Designs. On the called for 25 count Lugana from Zweigart, using mostly the called for DMC, and she has some specialty threads, some variations, stem seed variations, and some weeks. I've got some of the called for, and I've substituted some. It is, but I catch that one off 30 March. Want to catch up. Am I aiming to get it done by Halloween? I don't know. I don't want to put that pressure on myself. One moment, I need to pick up what I dropped. So I'll show you what I've also stitched on, but I just remember I wanted to show you the ATC card that I stitched as part of the New Zealand ATC swap. I haven't quite finished mine because I've stitched it twice, one to give away and one to keep, but I do have a picture of the one that I stitched. So the theme was spring. I know mine's more like summer, but I had I had a spring design and I just couldn't get it to work because I needed to stitch it on 40 count, but it had blends and some stuff done half stitch one strand and it was too much brain power to work. So I ended up just pulling something from my stash, which is arguably summer, but apologies. So I pulled this is a little chart that had been passed to me from my friend Sam. She had stitched it and passed it on to me. So it's almost, on 40 count, it's a little bit too wide. But I said to my person, I'm sure you'll forgive me the fact that it's a fraction too wide, then it's a little bit wider than 2.5. Well, it says it should be 2.5 inches wide when you do the maths. However, it was slightly wider, even though I was on overdyed fabric, which should have been slightly tighter. It was definitely the right height. It was exactly 3.5 high, but somehow it ended up slightly wider. I haven't even checked. It could even be that I just went by the stitch count and maybe it's actually wider than 50. No, it says it's, I don't even know why. It should have fit. It just didn't. Anyway, so stitch this in a variation of the call for, half the call for and a few extra subs. And this is what it looked like. So very cute. I just shoved this chart would have come with a little button, I don't know what kind of button it is. It says, tiny rook button. Bugger if I can. I cannot tell what it looks like. A snail. Anyway, I just stitched her initials in that area there, and I'll put mine in when I do mine. Let's pretend sunflowers start in spring. Oh, I don't know. It was just I had to change my mind because the first one just wasn't working, and I didn't have time to think harder about it because it was over that whole dad thing, so there's only so much you can do. So then I picked up yesterday evening my Moroccan Sampler from Cliffside Stitches. You may recall last time I showed this, I had a few of these to colour in, a few of the little, because I had to re-stitch part of this thing, and I had maybe 6 that needed the little colour centres filled in. I had partially stitched most of the border of this. I had still to do this middle bit, and these 2 little bits here needed to be done. So, but the rest of the background, yep, had been stitched. So I picked, this is on, so Moroccan Sampler, Cliffside Stitches on Etsy, 36 count Persimmon from Fibre on a Whim. And I probably spelled fibre wrong, so I spelled it the Kiwi way instead of the American way, using my own DMC conversion. Quite keen to finish this by the 18th of November. I've got a lot to do by the 18th of November, don't I? So I picked it up and I finished those bits that were, so I filled in these little, 6 of these little middle bits. I finished this big one here, and I got that little one in there done. So there is where she is. I'm definitely 2/3, I'm gonna say 2/3, probably just just over 2/3 of the way done, and most of the rest of the things are quite kind of straightforwardish, and I can probably complete several at a time. This one here, these two are probably the fussiest. Like these ones are kind of blocks of color. So yeah, that one will stay kind of out and get a little bit of work on. So that is all of my stitching. Yeah. So given that I didn't do any stitching Thursday night, I did a little bit Friday night, like maybe an hour Friday night, and I probably did about an hour like yesterday afternoon, and then I just decided to read my book, and I was doing some, what was I doing? I was doing a few things. I had music going. I'm just really enjoying going through all my old CDs and playing music at the moment, which is quite nice, and just not watching TV. So even when I was stitching, I had music going, which is hard. I find it harder to listen to music, maybe because I want to sing along, but I can't sing along and count stitches, so I kind of have to stop listening to the music, count my stitches. Like when I'm saying count my stitches, like if I have to count like 22, or like I'm counting a border or something, just stitching like 5 and 3 and 2, that's fine, because I don't have to count those. I can see them visually. I don't know, makes sense. But it's hard to count and not count in time with the music. It's really weird, but it's sort of funny how some things challenge your brain differently. So maybe music is mathematical, so maybe it's the same part of the brain. It's probably been, I don't know, full of shit. I am not sure. I will go and do something 35 minutes until I have to shape my loaves for the second proof, and I wish you well. I hope you find joy in your stitching wherever you are, and thanks for your support and your lovely comments. I appreciate you. Don't let your needles rust. Ciao.